The Enchanted Dots. Once upon a time, in a quaint village in France, there was a young boy named Louis. Louis was born with a sparkle in his eyes and a heart full of dreams. But when he was just a toddler, a terrible accident happened. While playing in his father's workshop, Louis accidentally poked his eye with a sharp tool. The wound got infected, and soon he lost sight in both eyes. Despite the darkness that enveloped him, Louis was a bright and curious child. His family, especially his loving parents, made sure he received an education. They wanted him to learn and explore the world, even if he couldn't see it. One crisp morning, as Louis sat under the shade of an ancient oak tree, his mother approached him with a gentle smile. "Louis, my dear," she said softly, "I have heard of a special school in Paris where children like you can learn many wonderful things. Would you like to go there?" Louis's face lit up with excitement. "Oh, Mama, yes, I would love to go and learn." And so, with his heart filled with anticipation, Louis traveled to the bustling city of Paris. He arrived at the Royal Institute for Blind Youth, a place where the air was thick with the sounds of learning and laughter. Louis quickly made friends and was eager to absorb all the knowledge he could. One day, a visitor came to the school. His name was Charles Barbier, and he had a curious invention he wanted to share. It was a system of raised dots that could be felt with the fingertips, allowing the blind to read by touch. He called it night writing. Intrigued, Louis eagerly joined his classmates to listen to Charles explain his invention. "This, my young friends," Charles began, "is a code of dots that you can feel and understand. Each combination of dots represents a different sound. With this, you can read and write, even in the dark." Louis ran his fingers over the raised dots, his mind racing with possibilities. But as he practiced, he realized that the system was complicated and cumbersome. The symbols were too large, and it was difficult to distinguish one from another. One evening, as Louis sat in his dormitory, he confided in his friend Henri. "Henri," Louis began, "I think Monsieur Barbier's invention is wonderful, but it's too complicated for us to use easily. I wish there were a simpler way." Henri nodded thoughtfully. "Maybe you could come up with something better, Louis. You have a gift for understanding these things." Inspired by Henri's words, Louis began to experiment. He spent countless hours in his small room, trying different combinations of dots. He wanted to create a system that was easy to learn and use. As he worked, he could hear the gentle rustling of leaves outside his window, as if the ancient oak tree from his village was cheering him on. One day, as Louis was feeling the familiar frustration of another failed attempt, he had a sudden idea. He realized that instead of using 12 dots like Monsieur Barbier's system, he could use just 6. With 6 dots, he could create different patterns that were easy to distinguish and remember. Excitedly, he shared his idea with his teacher, Monsieur Pienier. "Monsieur Pienier, I've thought of a new way to arrange the dots," Louis explained, his voice trembling with anticipation. "I believe it will be much simpler for us to read and write." Monsieur Pienier examined Louis's new system carefully. He could see the determination in the young boy's eyes and was impressed by his ingenuity. "Louis," Monsieur Pienier said with a warm smile, "this is truly remarkable. Let's test it and see how it works." With the support of Monsieur Pienier, Louis's new system of raised dots was introduced to the students. At first, they were skeptical, but as they began to use it, they found that it was indeed much easier to learn and understand. Word of Louis's invention spread quickly, and soon, people from far and wide came to see the young genius and his revolutionary system. But not everyone was convinced. Some of the teachers and scholars believed that the old ways were better and resisted the change. Undeterred, Louis continued to refine his system, driven by the belief that he was creating something that could change the lives of many blind people around the world. His passion and perseverance inspired his friends and teachers, and they rallied behind him, determined to prove the value of his invention. The young boy who once lived in darkness had now created a light for others, and although there were still challenges to overcome, Louis knew he was on the right path. Back in the village, the ancient oak tree stood tall and proud, as if it too sensed the importance of Louis's invention. The days in Paris were filled with a whirlwind of activities as Louis's system began to gain acceptance among his peers. However, there were still many who doubted the value of his creation. Louis knew that to truly make a difference, he would need to gain the support of influential figures outside the school. One sunny afternoon, as Louis sat in the school courtyard, he heard footsteps approaching. It was Monsieur Pignet, his teacher and mentor. Louis, Monsieur Pignet began, I have arranged a meeting with the director of the Royal Institute. He is a man of great influence and can help us gain wider acceptance for your system. But we must be prepared to show him just how effective it is. Louis's heart raced with both excitement and nervousness. He knew this meeting could be the key to making his dream a reality. The day of the meeting arrived, and Louis, accompanied by Monsieur Pignet, entered the grand office of the Institute's director, Monsieur Dufault. The director, a stern-looking man with a thick mustache, sat behind a large oak desk, his eyes fixed on the young inventor. Monsieur Dufault, Monsieur Pignet began, this is Louis Braille, the creator of a new system of reading and writing for the blind. We believe his invention has the potential to transform the lives of many. Monsieur Dufault looked at Louis, his expression unreadable. Very well, he said. Show me this system of yours. With steady hands, Louis demonstrated how his 6-dot code could be used to form letters, words, and even music. He explained how each combination of dots represented a different letter, and how the simplicity of the system made it easy to learn. As Monsieur Dufault watched, a flicker of interest sparked in his eyes. It is impressive, young man, he said, but how do we know it will be widely accepted? Louis took a deep breath. Monsieur Dufault, with all due respect, the simplicity and effectiveness of this system speak for themselves. Please allow us to teach it to more students and gather their feedback. The director thought for a moment before nodding. Very well. You have 6 months to prove its worth. If the students and teachers find it beneficial, we will consider implementing it more widely. Louis and Monsieur Pignet left the meeting with renewed determination. They immediately set to work, teaching the new system to as many students as possible. The response was overwhelmingly positive. The students, once struggling with the old, cumbersome methods, quickly embraced the simplicity and elegance of the new code. Word of Louis's invention continued to spread, reaching the ears of scholars and educators across France. Slowly but surely, more and more people began to see the value in his creation. However, there were still challenges to overcome, and Louis knew he needed to prove the system's efficacy on a larger scale. One day, a letter arrived at the school. It was an invitation for Louis to demonstrate his system at a prestigious conference for educators and scholars in Paris. This was the opportunity he had been waiting for. On the day of the conference, Louis stood before a large audience of distinguished guests. His hands trembled slightly, but his voice was strong and confident as he explained his invention and demonstrated how it worked. The audience watched in awe as Louis's fingers danced over the dots, reading and writing with ease. After the demonstration, the room erupted in applause. Among the crowd was a renowned scholar, Monsieur Martin, who approached Louis with a beaming smile. "Young man," Monsieur Martin said, "your invention is nothing short of revolutionary. I am confident that it will change the lives of countless blind people around the world." With Monsieur Martin's endorsement, Louis's system gained widespread acceptance. Schools for the blind across France and beyond began to adopt the new method, and soon it became the standard way for the blind to read and write. Back in his village, the ancient oak tree seemed to stand even taller, as if proud of the boy who had once sat beneath its branches, dreaming of a brighter future. Louis's invention, born from a place of darkness, had brought light to the lives of many. Years passed, and Louis grew into a respected educator and advocate for the blind. His system, known as Braille, became a symbol of hope and empowerment for blind people everywhere. And though Louis himself could not see the world around him, He had given the gift of literacy and independence to countless others. The end.